Hi everybody and welcome to another new episode of Retro Tech Select. So far, the focus of this series has been on retro gaming.
In this special feature, we'll venture out of the well-worn territory of video games and into the uncharted waters of home video formats.
To set the stage for this episode, let's wind the clock back a few years.
After a bitter war with Betamax in the late 70s, VHS tapes ruled the home video market until the turn of the century. For many of us, there's still something comforting about throwing in an old VHS tape, but there's also an obvious reason why we now watch our movies on other formats.
By today's standards, the video quality is atrocious.
VHS was replaced by DVD, which has in turn been replaced by the Blu-ray and digital HD, with each new format offering more detailed and natural imagery.
At least in theory. While most Blu-rays offer sight and sound that's far above what DVD and VHS can muster,
some look bad enough that one wonders whether they're really an improvement on the old formats at all.
And that's where today's plot comes in. Two such titles are Godzilla, Mothra, and King Ghidorah, and Goldeneye.
To capture today's comparison shots, I picked up a rather unique piece of equipment. The Samsung VR357 may look like an ordinary VCR DVD combo unit, but when we flip to the back, you'll notice not only does it have an HDMI out, but it outputs both VHS and DVD in upscaled HDMI, which brought a lot of convenience to the table for an easy $15. Don't think that made my life any easier when I tried to bring home a VCR in 2018.
What the hell is that?
But let's not dwell on how long I slept on the couch. The first video we're going to look at is Goldeneye.
Goldeneye is a movie I've owned on every video format that I've had a device to play it on. It's the movie that made me a Bond fan, and it's for that very reason that it pains me to say this. The Goldeneye Blu-ray is awful.
When first watching the Blu-ray, I honestly thought I might just want to stick to the DVD. Having seen these two together though,
there is an overall improvement in clarity on the Blu-ray, even if it does come with some unwanted issues. The first of those issues presents itself from the onset. The colors are a bit washed out. Yes, they're a bit more natural than the DVD release, and yes, there's a whole lot wider range of them, but the work done on the DVD versions looks a lot livelier. And then there's the nuclear satellite in the room. Goldeneye on Blu-ray is plagued by an overdose of DNR. That's short for digital noise reduction. What's worse is that it's not just overused, but its application is downright sloppy. One minute, you're looking at a noisy, yet crisp face. And then the character morphs into a wax statue of themselves. Some scenes fare worse than others, with on-screen characters that end up looking more like oil paintings than actual people. Even when sharper scenes are more generous with facial detail, my gut feeling is we're still missing out on texture that's being scrubbed away by DNR. This extends into scenery as well. The Blu-ray certainly provides clearer landscapes than the DVD, but it never quite achieves that look we've come to associate with high-def video. Still, as bad as it is, there's no denying that the Goldeneye Blu-ray is still an improvement on the DVD, and it's miles ahead of that old VHS copy you have in the basement.
And that brings us to our next and final film.
Godzilla, Mothra, and King Ghidorah, Giant Monsters All-Out Attack. It's catchy. Unlike Goldeneye, I never owned GMK on tape, but it's one of my favorite Godzilla films on DVD, and I jumped at the opportunity to watch it in HD. To my dismay, I discovered the Blu-ray is quite possibly the worst looking modern Godzilla transfer. From the first scene of the film, it was apparent that we weren't getting much added sharpness here. In fact, GMK might have the exact opposite problem of what we saw on the Goldeneye Blu-ray. Where Goldeneye was over-processed, GMK looks like the studio made no effort to ensure the film met modern viewing standards. With the DVD, edge enhancement and artificial sharpness might have been a little heavy-handed, but it gave the film a dynamic pop. That same level of attention doesn't seem to have been paid to the Blu-ray release, with several scenes offering more detail on the DVD. I can only imagine this is the result of cheap film being used to shoot the movie, as there's no evidence that much was done to alter the film's look during the mastering process. We're basically just looking at a very lazy Blu-ray transfer. I own dozens of hasty HD releases that offer a bigger leap in visuals and still sell for bargain prices. Despite that, it's hard to argue that the film actually looks worse than the DVD. The colors and image are all soft and natural. Maybe too soft and natural, but still. Night scenes are given extra depth as black levels are improved, and the digital artifacts that are a hallmark of DVD are now absent. Check out the halos on the left. These sorts of ringing effects are eliminated by the higher definition of Blu-ray discs. And at least the Blu-ray wasn't improperly cropped like the DVD. Look at how much picture is missing in these shots. There are definite benefits in upgrading to HD. It's just that all these subtle improvements hardly impress when we've come to expect the jump to Blu-ray to blow us away. The GMK Blu-ray release is still the best way to watch Godzilla, Mothra, and King Ghidorah in your home theater.
Overall, I think it's safe to say that the films in question don't actually look worse than the DVDs, even if they do disappoint as Blu-rays.
It's important to remember just how far we've really come since the days of the VHS.
Thanks again for watching, and I hope to see you all on the next, more traditional episode of Retro Tech Select.